Kyle here from All Media Reviews, here to do another vinyl video. I forgot one in the E's, my apologies, so I'm just going to start off with one last E. This is Extreme's album, Three Sides to Every Story. I think I got this in California at Amoeba Records, but this is the one record. This is Extreme doing prog of a sort in some ways. Great vocal harmonies, very influenced by Queen, but yes. Let's see, Warheads, Rest in Peace. There's one, the Everything Under the Sun suite. It's Color Me Blind. There's just a lot of great tracks. The production is great on this record. I didn't see them. They played here the same night as Local Natives. I've still never seen Extreme, but anyway. So that's the end of the E's. I wish I would have included in the last video, but I didn't. My apologies. So I have one album from Fair to Midland. It's the first of the F's. Yes. Fables from a Mayfly. What I tell you three times is true. Played the hell out of this thing, especially in 2007. Saw them live about 11 or 12 times over like a 4-year period. It's just one of those staple David Bottrill records. Dance of the Manatee, Vice Versa, Seafarer's Knot, April Fool's and Eggman. Walls of Jericho is very catchy and memorable. Every track really works. I mean, it has a little bit of a sameness to it, and there aren't too many guitar solos, of course, but it doesn't matter. Darrow's vocals, soaring vocals, and just the way the keyboards and just the dynamics and Cliff's just riffs, and I don't know. This is where they peaked. I don't have any other records on vinyl. If they issue them, I know they issued the follow-up on vinyl, but the production bugged me. I never end up getting it. I still should get it. I have it on CD. Arrows and Anchors. Anyway, so that's Fair to Midland's Fables from a Mayfly. I'm trying to put this up so I don't have to do so much work to put everything back. So, okay, so I've got... I didn't get these in the best order, but I think... Okay. I've got 3 albums from Faith No More. These are the 3, or I have 4 actually, technically. Yes. I'm trying to see if this is the correct order. So I have The Real Thing, the Mike Patton era. The Real Thing, of course, that's actually my favorite record. The title track I love. Everyone knows Epic, of course, and Falling to Pieces, but it's a great record. And I've got the live at Brixton Academy. I don't know if this is like an EP, I'm not sure, but you see this constantly. And so I eventually I just decided to pick it up. I don't know if any of the Brixton bands were there, but they're probably too young, because this is in 1990. Saturday, April 28th, 1990, at Brixton Academy. So, yeah, that was in support of The Real Thing. So I've got Angel Dust, of course, the limited edition double vinyl. This is very different. It's more experimental than even The Real Thing, of course, but experimental is a weird word to describe Faith No More, even though, Mr. Bungle's way more experimental than them, but... I mean, smaller and smaller, Be Aggressive, Midlife Crisis, Everything's Ruined. I mean, it's a fun listen, and it's a record that I've never loved, but I've always appreciated and respected. So, and then I have King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime from 1995. I haven't gotten Album of the Year. At some point, I might get that. Vinyl's expensive. Whatever I paid, $37 for this. But this is, to me, their last, great record. The title track, King for a Day or whatever, is probably my go-to. But I had a period where I was listening to a lot of Faith No More. I've never seen Faith No More live, and this period, I liked Soul Invictus, but, I didn't get attached to it. And the Chuck Mosley stuff is okay. I think that just with Patton, there was something extra, even though I didn't realize how similar Patton was to Mosley in a lot of respects. The music is still of a similar look, where they're doing kind of art metal with, hardcore influences and, jazzy influences and funk, of course, but... Alright, so I have one album from this band, Falcon Arrow, who I know opened for someone. I have 1 or 2 of their CDs. They also have their music is frequently found at Solstice Records in Minneapolis, or now at St. Louis Park, but anyway. They're a local band from Minnesota. I don't know what you'd call them, prog of some kind. I don't know if you'd call them prog. They're not punk, really. They're I don't know. I've spent very little. I don't. Again, they opened for someone. I can't remember who it was. I have to look on my concert list. But anyway, that's Falcon Arrow's album. It's called Tower, and this came out in 2014. So all right. So I've got. This is the whole. This isn't in order. 3 or because I don't think I have CDs from this band, of course, too. No. Actually. This band goes next, and then they would go next. So I have one. This is an EP, I think, from the local black metal band, like atmospheric black metal band False from Minnesota. This is the one. This is a self-titled EP, I think. Holly Mine and Gilead Media. I found this at Half Price Books, and I even may have gotten it on sale, but I like them. They played them on Radio K, and I'm not black metal. I like Aglock and some other examples of black metal. The two was mixed in with some stuff, but it worked. And maybe the fact that they were local and I'd heard them on the radio, and I remember talking to someone who was from the band, I think it was, after an Opeth show back in like 2011 or 2012 at First Avenue about them. So I was like, oh, False. Yeah, I've heard them on the radio, and so I saw this and I was like, I'll pick it up. They've had a couple records since. I haven't really had the mood to check the stuff out, but I'm glad I got this. I can't remember what year this came out. It was early 2010s. A lot of the new records, of course, I bought were early 2010s because I wasn't collecting records before that were new records, of course. So here they are. So I've got the 3 proper studio albums from the Family Crest on vinyl. You have the Beneath the Brine from 2014. When I bought this, I think at the show that I saw them with Mother Falcon, and I didn't even know who they were, but like a day before that. And I've got Act 1, The War Act 1 from 2018 or 2017. Was it 2017? It was 2018. It says 2017. It's interesting. So then Chant Thing almost would make sense that the year when it was actually produced, maybe, or recorded. And written, of course. Then I have the one from last year, from 2022, The War Act 2. So, all great records. None of them are perfect, but if my go-to, I think overall, I kind of look toward Beneath the Brine. The title track alone is the best thing they've still done, but really consistent progressive chamber art rock band, Family Crest. If you don't know them and you're a fan of the Deer Hunter, you should check them out. You definitely should check them out. So here's the big collection in this video. Not the only one, but I'm just going to have to kind of go methodically. Fates Warning. I've shown this because I did the Fates Warning videos last year, but show it again. So here's the debut album, one of the 3 or 4 covers, Night on Brocken from 1984. So then I have one copy of The Spectre Within from 1985. My favorite of the 3 John Arch records. Epitaph, especially The Apparition and Traveler in Time. And I've got 2 copies, I think one's an anniversary edition, of Awaken the Guardian from 1986. I can't remember which one. This one looks like the anniversary. You see this frequently. You don't see Spectre Within very often at all. It's weird, but anyway. Great record. John Arch's last record until he would reunite with Jim Matheos, of course. Fata Morgana, Guardian, Prelude to Ruin, Sorceress. So then I've got just one copy of No Exit, the first album with new singer Ray Alder from 1988, and then I have the picture disc. I saw this at Cheapo back about 10 years ago. It was a little over 10 years ago. I had to have that. Love this record, as I talked about in the videos last year. And I don't want to screw this up too poorly, as I feel like I already am. I'm just going to be stacking these, unfortunately. So I've got one copy of Perfect Symmetry, speaking of cheapo, and I got this. This was on their wall. It was like, I think it was $40, but it was hard to find this Perfect Symmetry. I think they reissued. I don't know. I might eventually get the reissue at some point, but that was the first pressing, I believe. Because look at the metal blade label and everything. So then I have one copy, of course, of Parallels, the reissue that came out in 2017. Probably their most commercially successful album, for what that's worth. And I showed in a video, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago, Inside Out from 1994. The last album with Joe DiBiase, bass player, and Frank Aresti, guitarist, for a while. And then I got A Pleasant Shaded Grey, of course. My favorite Fates Warning album. The one track, really, it's one epic piece, like 50 some odd minutes. when they were, those two guys, they were basically a trio. They had Kevin Moore, of course, the services to play piano and everything on it. But then I have the one that I just got recently, the Disconnected, I've been looking for from 2000. Kevin Moore showed up again. Of course, Still Remains is an unbelievable prog metal epic masterpiece, among other great tracks on that album. And I have FWX, which I just got a couple weeks ago. The last album with Mark Zonder, drummer Mark Zonder. But Heal Me is my favorite. But Left Here, Simple Human, River Wide Ocean Deep, Handful of Doubt, Straight Little Face, Wish, the closing track, and then they have 3 bonus tracks I mentioned, 2 demos, and then a hideous mix of Wish. But Simple Human and Another Perfect Day. Oh, I forgot to mention Another Perfect Day. That's maybe the catchiest song they've ever written, with the most pop-oriented or radio-friendly. It's great. It's the choruses I can never get out of my head. Then I have Darkness in a Different Light, an album that I don't love, but I'm growing to like more. Fireflies features 1,000 Fires. I think it's Into the Black's another one that I really like. And Oh Chloroform, that's a Kevin Moore pen lyric, I believe. And then, of course, this side 4 has Falling Further, and the extended version of Firefly. So, anyway, I went over this last year. And then I've got, of course, Theories of Flight from 2016. That was 2013, Darkness in a Different Light. Comeback record. This, of course, had Light and Shade of Things, just one of the best pieces they ever did, and comes with a CD. My album of the year. I'm not spoiling things, of course, but it was my album of the year in 2016. We'll see if it still is now. It was a pretty tight race that year, though. And then I have their last record, of course, Long Day Good Night, which came out in 2020, which might probably the last album they ever do. Not an album I love, but as a completist, I'm glad I have it, and it has still some good songs. The first track, The Destination Onward, is a favorite. So moving on into the rest of the Fs. So I've got 2 releases. They're not full-length albums, because this artist has never released a full-length album. Someone who I greatly love, but it's just limited. I have 2, the Evening Light single from Fiacra, and then that was 2018, and this one was 2018. They both came out in 2018. Sugar Face. 12-inch singles I got that year. Fiacra's a genius. Unfortunately, he's also, for whatever, he's playing with Annie B, and, he's obviously making new music is not in priority, but I'm hoping one day we're going to get more music from him. He has, this isn't that long ago, but he has yet to put a full-length album out. His EP from 2014 is still a masterpiece, Thought Steps, but anyway, I'm glad I have those on vinyl at least. And I should mention, I forgot to mention that is it. Yeah, I've never heard Negabone, the instrumental. I've never heard the side B because I haven't played this. But I just need to hook up my turntable. I will finally listen to that because it's not online anywhere. Sugarface, the song I know, but Evening Lights is terrific. The only thing I'll say in Sick Kids, Bang on the Door, they're all great tracks. I think he was more experimental on Thought Steps, but every track is still great here. Of course, he had the second EP that came out in 2014, which had that song Koi that I love so much too. He's kind of all over the place, but in a good way. He's combining so many different styles. So, all right. So I'll just kind of go through these again. A bunch of records from the band Foals, the British band. So this is their debut album, Antidotes, from 2008, which I've grown to love and love more and more. The math rock album, the energy's off the charts. Cassius, Like Swimming, Two Steps Twice is a terrific. Showstopper Live, the French Open, Balloons. Anyway, that was 2008. Then, in some ways, even a breakthrough. They topped that with Total Life Forever, which has their just absolute showstopper banger, Saying Sahara. It's just surreal. It's dreamy. But this has so many other songs I love. Blue Blood, Miami, Afterglow, Alabaster. It's just trippy. It's just I love this record so much from 2010, Total Life Forever. So then I've got their album from 2013, of course, Holy Fire is a record store. I haven't opened it. Record store day item. Features Providence. Inhaler was pretty heavy. This might be their heaviest record in some ways. The riffs are heavier. It's not metal. Milk and Black Spiders is another one that I really love on this. And then they have this live thing that came out one of the other record stores. It may have been a Black Friday record store day. I forget. It was record store day. That was 2013. This is the next 2014. So it has a lot of the stuff from Holy Fire on it. It does have Spanish Sahara though. It does have Two Steps Twice. So they're just a fantastic live band too. Their last record from last year, the Life is whatever it's called, I didn't like right away. I thought it was a little too poppy. The keyboard player left, but it grew on me, and I'm starting to think that it's, they're really a consistent band. So anyway, 2016 they put out, I think it was 2015 or 2016. It was 2015. What Went Down, which some people don't like this album as much, but Mountain at My Gates is dreamy. The title track, Night Swimmers, Lonely Hunter's another one. Another really good record from Foals. Are they prog? They're art rock. They're kind of post-art rock, math rock especially, but they use other styles. So then in 2019 they put out these 2 records, which you can see as a double album. Everything Not Saved Will Be Lost Part 1, Everything Not Saved Will Be Lost Part 2, which, I don't know, I mean, these were right in my album of the year race most of the year. I feel like if you combine the 2 of them, you have one fantastic album. On the Luna is a favorite of mine. White Onions is great. Exits, Syrups. Yeah, I guess between the 2, I'd go with Part 1, but The Runner's a favorite on Part 2, Black Lightning. So, I just, Foals as a band, they rarely disappoint me. They're like Local Natives in Warpaint. I keep on expecting them to kind of go down, and they just never do. They're really consistent. So to close out the video, I got a couple more records here. I have one or 2 Robert Fripp related. I have Robert Fripp's The League of Gentlemen, which that's the title of it, I believe. It came out after Crimson. Well, no, actually it was in '81, so at the point that Crimson was reforming or had just reformed. Anyway, this is like he's got all these acoustic guitarists, and they play like, in chorus, basically, a lot of the same parts. It's really clean sounding guitar. It's great. My friend played some music on KFA radio many years from it. And then I have his album, what's this called? Lives? This is a live album. And League of Crafty Guitarists live, so it's just kind of a similar idea. They're not really, I mean, it's just instrumental music for the most part. And I can't remember if he had any other musicians playing on him that were of note. Not really. It's really just him and like these guitarists that are part of his school. This came out probably after that, so it probably supported that record, like right when that record came out. 86. No, it was a few years later, but he was doing Crimson, but then he did this. Guitar Craft, as they Frippatronics they call it. So the last one I have is this jazz fusion sort of collaboration. It's the typical thing. This came out in '81. It's called Fuse One. And when I got into, I forget what it was. Like, I was thinking all this just fusion, like the Billy Cobham and George Duke live album, and these guys working together. This doesn't really go under one specific artist. It just has who's who. This guy named Jeremy Wall, who played with Spyro Gyra, I believe, was on a lot of this. But it has like Lenny White, Larry Coryell. I met Larry Coryell. I saw him a few times. The Larry Coryell, he signed it, of course. You can see the names on John McLaughlin. You see Tony Williams, Joe Farrell. It was worth checking. I don't even remember how much. I paid $3.60 for it. That was, long before I was just collecting normal vinyl. So this is one of the first vinyl records I bought. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. A short announcement. I probably will be joining Scott from the Prog Corner on Sunday for his Sunday. What do you call it? Sunday prog streams, assuming the stars align and don't have a conflict. It's going to be in the 90s here. My wife was going to go to this Minnesota State Fair. We just went on Monday, but she's probably not because multiple reasons. One being how hot it's going to be. Another, the mother-in-law's probably going to be here. But I'm going to try doing that. It's around noon. I'll be doing some more videos, presumably this week, getting through more of this so I can get this done maybe by the end of September. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and you can look forward to watching that on Sunday.